Monty, you got a question?
Well, thank you, Kerry. Monty Dutton, Gaston Gazette. Ryan, when your team fields 3 cars instead of 2, does it have any impact whatsoever on the way you on the track, off the track, people working with you? Does it have any effect at all?
It has the potential every time. It has the potential to have a positive effect, and it has the potential to have a negative effect. It all depends on the performance of all 3 cars. It's just no different than a chain. It's only strong as its weakest link. And we're out there doing what we can on the 39 side, and every team is. But it's business as usual for us when we're on the racetrack. But it's the debrief sessions and things like that where we all get together, and when things are right, we can talk about the positive things, and when things are wrong, we figure out what not to do, so we can make the positives out of it. But that's the same whether it's 1, 2, or 3 car teams. Is you still have the opportunity to communicate to the nth degree.
Let's go to Mike Mulhern, and then we'll go to David Caravello.
Mike Mulhern.net. I like to ask questions
I
of
thought you wanted a flag.
Oh, the flag, yeah, sure. Because you're an engineer, and this is an engineering question.
Okay.
Mark Martin hit the wall last week, pit road at Michigan. How would you redesign or refix or put the Jersey barriers up? What would you do to prevent that or make that a little less dramatic?
I've thought about that a little bit. The only thing that comes to mind off the top of my head is where Mark hit. That was the call to pit in, the pit out, the box behind him. He hit where Casey Kane's pit is. I don't know whose pit was behind it. As if you could actually have a flare there so that there's still a vertical wall. But if Mark was to come through there the way he did, it would ramp him back out to the other wall instead of coming in and continuing into that wall. So you'd have to have just put a cheese wedge of wall there so that when somebody is coming through there at that speed, it shoves them out. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, you don't want to have you could put up sand barrels there, but you're just going to blow sand all over everybody's pit box and everything else. I mean, yeah, it helps, but to me, a flared wall there would help. And you see that a little bit at a place like Darlington where we have the tunnel flares and things like that. But, and it's something we've dealt with. There's no issues with it. But from a safety standpoint, I'd say a flared wall in positions like that on the, the back edge, the wall that you're just passing would be the fix in my mind. You can use that if you want. I won't charge you 10% or anything.
Go ahead, David.
I'll take 5.
David Caravello, NASCAR.com. How sick were you last week, and in retrospect, how big was that 8th place finish, given what you were dealing with health-wise?
I was sick. I had a fever and pretty bad cold and achy bones, and went to infield care center, and literally just came out of infield care center and got changed and went to the car. But I felt better getting out of the car than I did getting in. Unfortunately, I still got that same bug, and I was in the infield care center this morning. So struggling with it a little bit, but I think of all the medicine that I've gotten, there's nothing better than adrenaline, and adrenaline helps carry you through a lot. And I wish that I could put it in a pill form. I don't know if they have yet or not, but I'm managing. It's not the best. I don't feel the greatest, but in the car, I don't feel like I'm giving anything up. What's that? I did this morning, yes.
Other questions for Ryan? Anybody else?
Really?
Anybody else have a question? Woody?
Better be a good one.
Well, now I don't want to go. Woody came with MRN. Ryan, after running the modified race in practice today, what do you think about the changes and how we'll race on Saturday night?
To me, it's the same. We don't usually get to the top part of the racetrack until the race itself. I don't know that it's really going to be slicker. It just never has gotten run on to get the rubber and stuff built up on it. Right now it's slick because it's still kind of powdery up there. I don't know how much it's rained here and washed it off, but it just, to me, everything's kind of washed up in there and stuck into it. As far as the dirt, the rubber, and everything else, to me, it's still the answer still is in the tire and getting the tire to fall off. Goodyear's overproduced when it comes to durability and performance, and the tire doesn't fall off, but 2 or 3 tenths on a 70 or 80 lap run. Well, you go back here to the old racetrack, you go back here to, so even when I think the track was redone, we had a tire that would fall off a good bit more, and you had to worry about pedal in the car and handling. You just don't have that anymore, and I think that's where the issue really lies. I think that Bruton's doing his job to appease the fans, but in the end, I think it's the tire that's dictating the racing. They're doing a good job with the tire. They just need to make a tire that falls off and has the durability, which is not easy to do. So we talk about that at different racetracks all the time, but that would definitely change the racing. When you're falling off a second and a half at times over an 80-lap run, you come in to put tires on, it's going to be faster. That's the idea. But now when it's falling off 3/10 and you say you're 60 laps from your fuel window and your next fuel window is only going to be, it's only going to put you to the end of the race, you're going to stay out and you're not going to get past because it's too difficult to pass. Even if you're 3/10 off, it's too difficult to pass. The tires refire too well. So it's just, to me, the racing here is more of a byproduct of the tires than it is the actual track and the banking or anything else. I knew I'd get you fired up on that one.
You're an engineer. I like to ask these questions. I've talked to Goodyear about that, and they can layer tires. I don't know if you've been to the Goodyear plant and see how they actually build them by hand.
Yeah.
You probably have.
Yeah.
They can layer like 10 laps of Goodyear and then 20 laps of medium and then 10 laps of hard or something like that. And they've actually talked about that. I guess with NASCAR, I don't know. Would you suggest something like that for a couple of these racetracks that they might?
Well, I mean, whatever it takes to keep the durability and change that, that fall off is what they have to do. If they have to do it that way, or if they can go back, the big part of what we're doing is, these green tires, which is great for the environment, but it has to me, I don't know if that's the actual answer, but it has a byproduct on the durability of the tire and the raceability of the tire at the same time. So, it's their responsibility. They're the only tire manufacturer out there that can fix it. And, how they fix it is up to them. But to me, that's what we need. It's not about going out there and spending millions of dollars and grinding off 4 inches of concrete. It's about and I know why Bruton did it, but in the end, it's not the actual answer.